for people who are interested to visit New Zealand for visit, for tourism purposes, or to meet their friends or relatives. The Immigration New Zealand have laid down few basic requirements for an applicant who wish to apply for visitor visa. Few of those conditions or requirements I will discuss it now. The first requirement the Immigration New Zealand expects from an applicant is that he should have a lawful purpose to come to New Zealand. Second requirement is that he should be a bona fide applicant. Another requirement which is generic in nature, that is called health and character requirements. If an applicant fulfills all these requirements, then he can be assessed as whether he deserves to be issued a visitor visa or not. Before discussing further on these conditions or requirements, I would tell you that it is up to the absolute discretion of an immigration officer whether to grant you visa or not. This application, if decided one way or the other, the applicant has no right to appeal against that decision, because this is a total discretionary part of the immigration officer's job. So that an application for visitor visa, if decided, the applicant has no right to appeal against that decision. That must be taken into mind. Now coming back to the requirements laid down by the immigration. First requirement, I talked about the lawful purpose. If you are visiting your relatives to New Zealand, or if you are coming for a business exploratory trip, or if you are here for tourism purposes, you want to see the beautiful sceneries, beautiful rainfalls, beautiful waterfalls, and very beautiful sceneries in different parts of New Zealand, then it would be a lawful purpose. But if you are planning to visit New Zealand for some unlawful purpose, like for any illegal activity, that would not be a lawful purpose. So you need to first decide what is the purpose of your visit to New Zealand. Second requirement is that you must be a bona fide applicant according to the immigration policy. By bona fide applicant, the assessment process is depending on different factors. The first important factor, I would say, would be the funds. If you are interested, or if you are intending to come to New Zealand for sightseeing purposes, for tourism purpose, to enjoy the beauties and the natural scenery of this country, you must have some funds for travel and funds for spending while you are in New Zealand. It would be very helpful for a visa officer to assess you as a positive profile applicant if you have more than 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs Indian rupees in your bank account, and you have made some bookings for travels or for tourism, some bus tour or train tourism company for your journey while you are in New Zealand, or you have booked some taxi or any other company to prove that you intend to go for sightseeing. So the funds requirement, I have told you, you must have funds sufficient for coming to New Zealand and spending money while you are in New Zealand. I have just given you figure of 10 to 15 lakhs, even if you have less amount, that doesn't make you not a genuine applicant. It's all depending upon what's your source of income. If your source of income in your home country is from employment, then if a good applicant or a bona fide applicant for visitor visa would have at least above 50,000 rupees per month as wages or salary. If you have employment in which you are getting less than this amount, the immigration considers this as a modest income. And if there is a modest income regularly coming into bank account, that may give immigration view that this person won't come back to his home country after spending time in New Zealand. So I would say if you are employed, your wages or salary should be around above 50,000 or more if you are a bona fide applicant for a visitor visa. Second thing is that the funds which are shown in your bank, those funds must reflect to your employment or occupation. If you are a school teacher and you are earning around 20,000 or 30,000 per month, and your bank account shows that you have deposited around 2 lakhs or more than the amount in one go into your bank, certainly that is not reflecting to your employment status. If you are a businessman and your income is above 50,000 or above 1 lakh Indian rupees, possibly that may reflect into your bank account. And if you are a successful businessman, you may be filing your income tax returns, or you must be having any documentary evidence that you are running the business. So if you put the bank statement along with these documentary evidence, it will convince immigration that you have strong occupational incentive to return back to your country, and the funds which you have in your bank account, that reflects with your monthly earnings. Apart from that, I would advise you to get a valuation of all your assets and source of income, and share in that assets from a chartered accountant, so that the immigration New Zealand may be able to assess what is your actual financial position. If you have bank accounts where long money, I mean to say huge money, around 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs rupees have been deposited in one go, it would create doubt in their minds that you have deposited those funds only for the purpose of obtaining visa. So in that situation, you won't be considered as a bona fide applicant. The third requirement for bona fide applicant for a visitor visa would be that he must have some socio or occupational incentive or family incentive or attachment back at his home country, which will force him or which will compel him to go back to his home country after spending time in New Zealand. You must show by documentary evidence what socio-economic or occupational incentive you have at your home country, which will compel you to come back. Just by simply saying that I am employed there, or I am working, I am doing that business, or I have that much assets and I will come to take care of those assets, or I have my family, that doesn't convince the immigration about your financial situation. They need to see the documentary evidence, and that documentary evidence must be verifiable and it must be genuine. Only genuine applicants are considered as bona fide applicants. If you have misled the immigration by giving any false or misleading information, Certainly, if you will get your application declined, that will be considered in all future applications you will make for any category of visa, not only in New Zealand, maybe for other countries as well. So my advice is never make any false or misleading information, and never attach any document which is not genuine or which cannot be verified. In that situation, you would be considered a bona fide applicant by the Immigration New Zealand. And one more thing which I need to point out here, that if you have applied for a visitor visa or any other temporary visa, it is your obligation to provide with all the information and evidence which would prove your bona fide and being a genuine applicant. As per Immigration Act 2009, which came into force in 2010 onwards, immigration officer has the authority to decide your application on the basis of information and evidence which you have provided with your application. He is not obliged or bound to ask for any further information. So in case you are a partner of a student in New Zealand, or if you are the parent of a New Zealand student or a New Zealand resident, I would suggest that you attach all the required documents and provide every possible information which would be helpful to the immigration officer in assessing you as a bona fide applicant. Remember here that whatever information you are providing, the immigration will decide that application on that information. If that information is not verifiable, or the documentary evidence you have provided is not genuine, or it can't be ascertained whether that is reflecting your occupation or your family circumstances, your application can have negative impact on the immigration officer. So in short, I would say that an applicant for a visitor visa has huge responsibility to prove his genuineness and to prove that he is a bona fide applicant. Immigration New Zealand assesses every applicant on the basis of information and the documents they have provided. So I think this information would be useful for people who are interested to visit New Zealand, either to meet their relatives or friends, or as a spouse of a student visa or a work visa holder.